there were two huge upsets in the FIDE World Cup knockout tournament today. So first of all, Yanni Pomnishi was knocked out by Diptayan Ghosh from India, Indian Grandmaster, but rated way below Nepo. So big upset there. And the other one was that Wesley So, seemingly on good form after a very decent US Championship, was knocked out by Titas Stremavicius from Lithuania. And you can see the ratings here. Stremavicius 25.31. Wesley So 27.56. But what was really shocking about this game was that Wesley resigned in a drawn position. Let's dive in and take a look at what happened, or what could have happened, what should have happened. Right, well, Wesley lost the piece pretty early on, but he fought back, and you can see that, yes, that's an extra bishop here. But Wesley has pawns on g3 and h2, so they're heading in this direction. Just the h-pawn just one square from queening, but there's a blockade. Now, by this stage, Wesley had just seconds on the clock. So the time control is 90 minutes for the first 40 moves. Then they get an additional half an hour. They also get 30 seconds increment from move 1. So Wesley was short of time, but he was basically demoralised. He resigned, he thought he was lost. So why do you think he was lost? Well, basically the king is getting squeezed. And the king is going to come in and take these pawns. That's what he thought. So for example, king g5, king f3, king h4, king f4, and it looks like Black is just lost here. If the king goes backwards, the king just comes in and takes the pawns, and of course that's winning for white. Let's just see that. There we go. And this bishop just defends the b pawn, and then white's king comes across. Let's just see how this works out. You can always force the king backwards, and the king gets squeezed on the other side of the board. For example, I mean, there's a million ways to do it, but basically this is just winning. However, in this position, I mean, this is an unbelievable defense, but there is a defense. I should probably do a think and drink moment here, but I mean, there's really only one option left. You get a queen. That gets taken. King here. I mean, this is extraordinary, actually, that it's a draw. It's really an anomalous situation. So king f3. It looks like white has everything under control. But king h2. Bishop g2. King g1. Ah, here's the trick. It's a stalemate trick that comes to black's aid. King takes g3. Stalemate. Okay. It's not over yet. Watch this. Bishop h3. King h2. So if the bishop moves this way, then the pawn goes through. So let's say bishop f1. King g1. Now, if the bishop goes back, then just king h2. So what about bishop c4? Okay, now this is getting tricky. So if g2, then actually white wins with this. Bishop d5. Now the king has to come here. Now don't take, because that's a draw, but bishop c6. Zugzwang. King has to move to the side, doesn't matter which way you go. You take with check, and then white wins. However, in this position, black just comes back, king h2. Threatening g2, g1. So bishop f1, king g1, the position repeats. It's a draw. Incredible. So coming back here, let's just recap. You give the h-pawn, king h3. Now, here's a variation which is optically looks completely winning for white, but it's still a draw. So instead of coming back to stop the g-pawn advancing, what about heading over towards the queenside pawns? g2, pawn endgame. Well, isn't white's king just faster in the race? Well, no, watch what happens. That b pawn is an asset. It's advanced just enough down the board, and black gets there just in time. Here, b2, and even queen with check, and a draw. It's curious, isn't it? It at first glance, it looks like this is completely winning for white, but black is just in time. Very important to have that pawn on b4. So Wesley missed a draw. Incredible. If we go back a few moves, in fact, Stremavicius was winning in this position. In this position, he played a4, allowing b4, and now it's drawn. If he doesn't play a4, in fact, this is winning. Okay, watch. You see the difference. So king here. Okay, we squeeze the king. And now it's Zugzwang. So obviously if the king goes back, then the king just comes in and takes the pawn. Okay, so what about this? Let's see if this makes... Let's see the difference. It does make a difference. Okay, king h3. b4. Ah, now this pawn is vulnerable. So, well, let's, for example, take here. King g1 here. So black is trying exactly the same thing. But in this case, you take on b5. Oh, that's a huge difference. And again, we have this situation where this is winning for white, but don't take that pawn. Just wait one move. The king steps to the side, and you take with check, and white wins. Okay, so what about, does it make a difference if a4 is played? Not at all. In fact, you do exactly the same thing. Black doesn't even get into this race. The king pawn endgame. You just take this pawn. Okay, let's come back here. So what about playing b4? Clearly, if white gets in b4, it's winning. So what about this? Does this make a difference? Well, it does make a difference if you play a4. But instead, take. King f4. Okay, black tries the same thing. But in this case, the pawn endgame is, of course, winning for white. Very, very simple. The king just shepherds the pawn down the board. So there we go. We kind of had a double oversight. Both players missed this idea that actually b4 should be drawing. It reminds me actually of a game I looked at in the summer between Sam Shankland and Alireza Firouzjar. If you recall, I'm just going to remind you. It's a similar concept. So it was this position, and Sam lost after this, and the king came in, and yeah, this is basically winning for black. But he could have drawn in this position if he'd played this, and now b5. It's exactly the same idea. Optically, it looks like white is completely lost. But there's a very clever idea. King here. And the king goes this way. If the king goes towards the kingside pawns, then black is way ahead in the race. This one just goes through. But incredibly, you don't go this way. You play king e4. And The king gets there just in time. Exactly the same, actually. Same concept. There we go. Just a little reminder. So, wow. Wesley gets knocked out, but he resigned in a drawn position. Quite extraordinary. Quick reminder that the next live masterclass for patrons takes place on Friday, the 14th of November at 8 p.m. UK. So patrons, do join me then. And if you want to become a patron, do subscribe. Check it out, patreon.com/PowerPlayChess. Thanks for watching.